He's never fought us. Not us united.
My favorite moment in the entire... Maybe I should complicate this before I start speaking here.
Welcome to Comics League. I am Jared, and today I have a very controversial topic to talk to you guys. It's one of my controversial takes that I really brought on to myself, but I'm going to read you a tweet that I recently sent out that got a fair amount of attention. So the tweet reads, I'm going to poke the bear for a bit. I think Superman does not belong with Lois Lane. They are completely incompatible, and Lois is nothing but a drag on his stories. He works much better with Wonder Woman since she makes him a better hero and man. Okay, so here's what I mean by that. All right. So it's no secret that I'm a Super Wonder fan because I love the comic and the comic sold me on it. So here's why I think that Lois Lane adds zero things to Superman. Because ultimately, she's just there to be the damsel in distress. And you could say they've tried to take her out of that, but they failed repeatedly. Like that Greg Rucka series by Greg Rucka on Lois Lane failed miserably. And here's the thing, though, because fans want her to be the one that Superman saves. And my issue is the whole reason why they've stayed together for this long is because you have nostalgic fans that believe that Superman must always be with Lois Lane. That's it. It's the same thing like Christopher Reeves is the only legitimate version of Superman to ever grace the screen, even though he's not comic accurate like at all. So that's really my point, is that it's really just a obsession with nostalgia is the reason why she stays as Superman's only love interest, even though he clearly has Wonder Woman. And here's the thing, DC knows it. Because if you read post-crisis DC, they've long said that they've long implied that Superman and Wonder Woman like each other a lot in the comics. And according to my good friend Night Sky Wonder, who if you're watching this, shout out to you, my friend. The thing about Lois Lane is that DC knows that Superman works better with Wonder Woman, so they were trying to turn Lois Lane into Wonder Woman and give her more of her character traits of Wonder Woman, but it doesn't work. Because ultimately, here's the thing. Lois Lane is an abrasive character. She's really, I think there's too much character damage from the comics to really make her a compelling character. I really just don't think that she works in the Superman thing. And honestly, her continued being the only like love interest for Superman in the comics repeatedly drags down his storytelling. That's it. I'm going to say it because that's what it does. It just drags down his stories. And here's the thing, Tevia, I know you're going to bring up John Kent. You don't need Lois Lane to do that either. You literally do not need her. Because guess what? They did it in Dark Knight's... in Dark Knight Returns. Now, granted, that was a different version of the Superman and Wonder Woman, and the kids were a little aggressive. But I'm saying in the regular universe, you could still have John Kent. It does it. Lois Lane being his mother makes zero. It will have, if you switch the moms to Wonder Woman, it makes zero impact on the character. Zero, except it leads to more compelling storylines. And that's the thing. Here's how Lois Lane makes zero impact on Superman. All right. So you could say he needs her to have a connection to humanity. All right. Jimmy Olsen, the Kents, Batman, any human member of the Justice League. If you want him to have this connection to humanity, Lois Lane is not essential. Lana Lang, as a matter of fact, too. And then you got like the crowd that's basically it. That's why I say it. And you could say Justice, but in Justice, see, you can do whatever you want with an Elseworlds. I'm just going off of the main DC stories. And you can say Superman and Wonder Woman getting together led to Injustice. Okay, here's what you have to realize. That was a different version of Wonder Woman. Because you could say that like Superman was like good but turned evil. It was really because Wonder Woman like influenced him. My point is that when you go with the mainstream DC continuity, Wonder Woman, Superman just works. It just works. And when you ask people, people will say, well, that's too obvious. So you're telling me it works. I'm just saying, there you go. Plus the fact, here's the chief problem. Here's my problem with Lois Lane. Clark will always have to hold himself back. He'll hold a part of himself back when he's with Lois. He can't be his true self, which is embracing both the human and the Kryptonian. Because ultimately, Lois Lane wants him to only be the Clark Kent, the Clark guy. That's it. Wonder Woman, however, teaches him to embrace all that he is, because she's all about truth, being your true self. Because Clark is a mix of the Kryptonian and the human. He's not just the Clark Kent guy. So, and that's what they emphasize in like Superman, Wonder Woman, Justice League 12, and is that the reason why they got together in Justice League 12, they're on top of the Lincoln Memorial, and they're both having this conversation about how it's hard for them to get close to anyone because it can't be their true selves around them, because you can't be close because they don't understand the life of a superhero. They don't understand having all these expectations on you. Because let me put it this way. Steve Trevor broke up with Wonder Woman because he was upset that she wasn't like around. She wasn't giving him proper attention. And I'm like, dude, okay, you're dating Wonder Woman. You're dating a member of the Justice League. Of course, she's going to be too busy for you. Perhaps you should have thought of that before you entered into a relationship with a Justice League member. Don't get me started on Steve Trevor. He's a moron. And quite frankly, he's a crazy stalker. That's, I'm going to give you that. But my point still stands, is that with the two of them together, they can embrace their full identity as Diana and Wonder Woman and Superman and Clark. That's it. They can be their full selves. And that leads to, honestly, great story potential, as we did with like the first 2 volumes of Superman, Wonder Woman. I say first 2 volumes because then they brought in Peter J. Tomasi, who's aggressively anti-Super Wonder and completely like destroyed the book to the point where he had stuff that contradicted the previous volume. Like in this, he finds out Wonder Woman's the god of war, and he's cool with it because he trusts Wonder Woman. In the other one, in like the Tomasi version, he's like, why didn't you tell me you were the god of war? And I'm like, will you shut up, dude? You just went through this. What are you talking about here? I don't understand this. He was fine with it in a previous version. And I'm just like, it makes no sense. It's crazy. But if they actually give it the potential, this would continue to sell well, because the first 2 volumes sold very well for DC standards. And if they would make more risks like this, guess what? They would sell more comics, honestly, because again, this sold well. It got them headlines. Superman and Wonder. We all know that DC is desperate for headlines. What was the headline in actually mainstream news too? Because it was like, even when Linda Carter was on, like, I forget which news show that she was talking about Wonder Woman, and they mentioned about how, oh yeah, Superman and Wonder Woman are a couple thing, and even Linda Carter promotes it. She's like, oh yeah, they work so well together. So that's really my like point there that I'm gonna go off of, because that's the crux of my argument. They can be the full superheroes that they're meant to be. So drop in the comments what you guys think. And again, Tevia, she's not Lois Lane is not essential to John. You can still have John, still have Wonder Woman as the mom. Just saying. And plus, also that'd be really cool having Wonder Woman for your mom. But that's where I'm going to leave it. Stay heroic, everyone. Drop in the comments your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next video. Happy New Year.